Brilliant. That should have worked. Everybody, thank you very much for coming back tonight. Tonight at the Pigsty, we have Cadence. And if anybody knows Cadence, we've been very much looking forward to this. I think the second part, a lot more people are looking forward to, but we'll ease you in. We'll ease you in gentle. We stole Cadence from GE. I think that's where we first met. Was from the GE's channel, Cadence. So for those that don't know who you are, let us all know.
Well, I'm Cadence. I have a very small YouTube channel that I am starting. And that kind of started because I have a collection of all kinds of stuff, like skulls, fossils, just like geology, all kinds of stuff. And everybody was like, you need to show it off. So I'm starting. And I figured since I've got an audience, or hopefully have an audience, I'm going to start expanding with other kind of science content, which if you've seen my show, you've seen my nice little jar that I've started.
The terrarium, yes.
Yeah, it's a ecosphere. It's a fully self-contained biosphere that I picked up from the bayou down the road.
The bayou.
Well, I am from Louisiana.
Pardon?
I am from Louisiana.
Well, right. As I was saying, we met Cadence in GE's, and Cadence came into our little family, so to speak, and talking more and more. And every time I talk to Cadence, Cadence would have, I have this, or I have this, or something in reference to the conversation. Very cool person. So this is why we've decided to do this. So the terrarium, the wee thing, it's you've got animals and stuff in it now. I know you had some moths in it, but obviously they died.
Yeah, that was maybe a couple days. Actually, I haven't even announced that on the channel yet. I'm still collecting video on it. But I basically grabbed some mud, some sticks, some water, and some plants from the bayou down the road, stuck it in a jar, sealed it off, and waited to see what happens. And I've got everything from little bitty copepods, tiny little critters, a couple of snails. I've got like maybe a half dozen hydra and a ton of things that I haven't even identified that are just kind of popping up. I think BRAINBUG, Brian's in the chat. I will probably be sending him a ton of photos soon because I've got so many things that are just like, basically, like the other day I walked up to it, turned on the light, looked at it and went, what the fuck is that?
But you're going to keep it completely sealed, not opening it, nothing. It's going to be self-contained, or?
Yeah, completely self-contained. So that was the goal, to have the plants, the algae or whatever that's in there, and the animals to create their own ecosphere where I don't have to do anything. They provide their own food. Things eat the waste. Plants provide the oxygen and also the food and everything like that. So I'm hoping to see how long it'll last.
Well, some of them do, like you've seen on the internet, some of them last for years. You know, if you get it right and you get the right balance and stuff, they can go for absolutely years.
Yeah. Not gonna lie, I didn't have high hopes for this because it was the first one I've done, but every time I look at it, I see something new. So I think this one will last quite a while.
Yeah, well, we obviously don't want it to die. These wee experiments and things like that, they're a lot of fun.
Oh, yeah.
They're a lot of fun. Speaking of fun, what other things? Brian has mentioned in the chat that you have a mosasaur tooth.
Yes, I have a mosasaur tooth. Would you like to see it?
Oh, yes.
Okay. 1 second. Stare at a skull in the moment. For the meantime.
We have a bobcat skull.
Let's see. Mosasaur. Move you out the way. And there it is.
And how old is that?
Let me pull that out. Oop, hang on. That way the glass isn't all in the way. Hopefully that focuses all right.
No, it's focusing perfectly. It should be coming through the stream okay. And that's fossilized from...
That is a fossilized mosasaur tooth from... actually, information is probably on the back. Cretaceous period, 66 to 70 million years ago, found in Morocco.
Like, other than the thing that we were talking about earlier, the iron meteorite that's literally the oldest thing in the galaxy at 4.5 million years, what's the oldest fossil that you would have?
Oh crap. That is a very good question. That one's 390. I've got some stuff from 2.5 billion years ago. It's something called, let me go grab it. Something called Archean butterstone, which is obviously from the Archean era.
Obviously. It's a very popular era.
Yes. Oof. And it looks like this. And it's got, I haven't been able to see anything because I don't have a microscope strong enough, but it's basically all has microscopic fossilized parts in it. I've researched it a while back, and I forgot most of what I've researched, but I do know it's basically a chunk that is filled with microscopic fossils from about 2.5 billion years ago.
You see, the microscopic fossils only recently in the scale of us researching, and that's what the Cambrian explosion and things like that, making it harder to actually find soft skins and microscopic fossils and stuff before that.
Yeah. And see, that's one thing that is about my collection, is half the stuff I get I don't know that much about, but once I get it, that's the fun. It's like, okay, what is this? Where does it come from? How does, finding out all the science behind it. That's the fun part of my collection.
Yeah. How big would your collection be?
Oh, crap.
2 rooms, 3 rooms? A house?
Right now, a lot of it is in a corner of my living room. So let's see. Where is my... I wonder if it'll show up. Nope, that's not the one I wanted.
Still looks very cool.
Get rid of that. There. I don't know if this shows up all the way on the screen, but all the way to the other side of where my face is the curio cabinet where most of the stuff is. Most of the little things. It's been reorganized, but yeah, that's where a good chunk of it lives.
In boxes, or you have it on displays and stuff?
That's all on display.
Yeah.
I don't leave anything in boxes if I can help it.
No, it's good to keep things in, because there's no point in having all this stuff and then throwing it into a box and putting it away. Like, as you say, the fun about it is the researching of it, and you'll forget about it if it's not there.
Yeah. Like, let's see. Let me get back to my desk cam, the desk cam. Oh, my catfish plushie in the background. So, like, mineral collection is in a box where it's all organized, and I have down what's what.
Very cool. Now they're not massively big pieces, size of your finger or fit in your hand sort of thing.
Yeah, so.
Yeah. But still, it's nice to have. How big is the mineral collection?
I just filled up this box this week, and that's 6 times 4, so that many samples there, not including what I've still got in the curio.
And what made you start collecting all this? Did you just, I'm a hoarder, I'm going to hoard cool things?
To be honest with you, it started with a subscription box. I tried to find a subscription box that gave me something like a mystery every month kind of deal. And I found a couple of them that gave me a lot of skulls and just different sciencey stuff. Because if I was going to get something, I wanted to get something cool. So once I got the box and realized that, hey, this stuff is awesome, researching what it is, and then wanting to learn more about it, I kept it up. And once I got more stuff, I'm like, well, shit, what am I going to do with all this? So I bought the curio, started setting it up, and then had to reorganize the curio like twice because I kept filling it up. So that's the reason why a lot of this stuff is in the boxes.
How long ago was that?
What's that?
How long ago was the collection started, the Curiosity box?
Ooh, probably 2.5 years ago.
That's not too long.
Mm-mm.
Although I do fear for your house if this is only what's happened in 2 years.
Yeah.
The Cadence Museum of Freaks and Curiosities.
Yeah, and the thing is too, earlier this year I got a promotion at my job, which gave me a 50% pay raise. So probably once all this stuff starts settling down, I'll probably start getting a lot bigger things in my collection.
Yeah.
Instead of skulls the size of the bobcat. Oops, wrong one.
That's for the next stream, kids. That's for the next one.
So instead of having skulls this size, I can get skulls that are like a full-size ram skull with the horns and everything and put it on the wall. Like that, for example.
Like this one. That's the only, well, I've got all these fucking ceramic skulls and stuff like that there, but this one's an actual skull from the Mourne Mountains in Northern Ireland, like, so. That's my only cool thing.
I've got probably a dozen skulls, from coyote and bobcat to mink, rats, turtle, iguana. I think I've got an iguana skull. I have to go look. It's a lizard. Chicken and turkey skull, or actually a chicken and a pheasant skull.
That must be tiny.
So, yeah. And a lot of these, I mean, you get a quick glimpse here, but in the curio collection, the future episodes I'm going to be doing, I'll be showcasing basically one item per episode.
And giving the history of it and the whole in-depth details of it.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I want to try to give the right information about what I'm showing, but at the same time, I have to learn it. So nothing. I can't just like recite everything off the top of my head.
Yeah. No, very much looking forward to getting in depth and stuff, because as you say, your collection is absolutely massive. You know, we've discussed skulls, we've discussed fossils. Another thing is you're big into your car, something similar that I like, that we were talking about last week, and the fact that you drive, you know, what you drive is your daily, and you have your Hondas and stuff like that there. Do you have something that you aim, that you like, that's your thing, you know, that this is Cadence stick, or I'm going to just grab everything?
Honestly, the fossils is my thing. I had since I was little, I've always had you know, I want to be a paleontologist. You know, Jurassic Park was my favorite book and everything like that. And then I grew up, and then, you know, whenever I started this collection a few years ago, my attitude before was like, you know, fossils are things that people go out and dig up and stuff like that. You go see it in a museum. And then I realized you can actually buy these things. They're not that expensive. So I started.
Do you have a favorite, or what was your first fossil that you bought?
First one I got, that is a very good question. Actually, I can show you. I picked up a box of, they're from the Hell Creek Formation, and they're either Triceratops or Hadrosaur fossils. They weren't identified with a skeleton, but they were dug up in an area where it's known to find those particular ones. Let me see. Let me grab one. Because these are cool.
The avatar's just.
Yeah, when I move out of camera range, the avatar just kind of.
Yeah, it's funny. It's like, oh, the puppet's just not going to master anymore.
Okay. let's see. Where's the camera? There it is. So it feels like a rock, and technically it is just a rock.
Yeah.
But if you look, you can see the little, like, the holes in it.
Mm-hmm.
That's where blood vessels and the hollows and stuff of the bone. That's what that is. That's how you can tell a fossil from a rock.
See, that's what I was going to say. A lot of people would have, you could go to somewhere where it's known to have fossils. How are you going to tell the difference between what's a rock and what's a fossil?
Yeah. See, like this here, you can tell just for the fact that it has all the holes in it.
Mm-hmm.
And there's all kinds of other ways to know. I mean, they'll generally look different from the surrounding rocks, because you've got your standard, what it's encased in.
Yeah.
And then you've got the bone that was sucked out and replaced with a whole different mineral over the course of, several 100 million years, give or take.
6,000 years, Cadence. 6,000 years.
4,000 years. The thing has to live and die first.
That's right. Yeah. What is your opinion on people like taking something like that you've got physically in your hand? It's not something that's in a museum. It's not a T-Rex replica because the bones are out the back and it's all very sensitive. You've actually got a fossil, something that has been dated, something that is that old, and then you come across people that G in the chat there, interrupting with young Earth creationism and things like that, and you meet these sort of people. Like, do you not feel like just fucking taking it and throwing it at them, or?
Yeah, pretty much. It's frustrating because that's one thing I don't understand. How can you close your mind so much not to see the wonders that is something like, a 66 million year old fossil?
Yeah.
How it formed and what the creature was like. And
yeah, I find that as well, because that in its own is very, very interesting. It's I don't know if you ever watched the show Heroes, BBC One show, sort of like a real life X-Men thing. But one of the special abilities and stuff that they had in it was being able to touch something and know the entire history of it. And that, in something in this field with paleontology or fossils or something like that, being able to touch it and know exactly, and the research that we have to do to get to that point. It's so much information, it's so interesting, and then they just go, God did it.
No. Something like this, I would love to know the history of.
Do you have a favorite fossil? Seeing as this is your first ones, then do you have a favorite?
That varies. I do have, and if you've seen the video, I do have 2 Tyrannosaurus Rex fossils.
Mm-hmm.
And they are, these were found in an area known to have these. The T-Rex fossil specifically was found with the rest of the T-Rex. So I know it's like certified paleontological find T-Rex.
Dave wants to know, do you have a T-Rex leg hanging around?
No, I do not.
What is it of the T-Rex? Is it, for the people who haven't seen?
I'm sorry, what's that?
The actual part of the T-Rex that you have.
That part I don't know. Is what I have is, the story of the fossil I've got. They found the T-Rex and they found partial parts of like the skull and the teeth and everything like that. The pieces I have are chunks of unidentifiable bone, which is the reason why I was able to get it. So like T-Rex.
It's a T-Rex. It's definitely from a T-Rex.
It's definitely a T-Rex. But like the teeth are expensive. I think the cheapest Tyrannosaurus Rex tooth I found for sale was about $450. Yeah. And I found one for like $1,800.
I seen a guy the other day, I can't remember what it was watching, and he's into something like you said, collects fossils and skulls and stuff, and he got a T-Rex life-size replica for his garden, and he has it sitting in his garden with like plants and stuff growing out of it. It's very cool looking. Just sort of walking, what the fuck is that,
Yeah. I have a small replica T-Rex skull, but I don't have a real part of the skull.
Other than Other than minerals and skulls and fossils, you mentioned stuff about coal as well that you had and special types of coal.
Oh yeah, I've got there's all kinds of stuff. Mineral samples like raw pieces of silver and copper. Let's see, what's some of them? Um, what's it called? Anthracite coal,
Mm.
I think. I've got a vial of raw carbon, like raw powdered carbon in a tube, which is really cool to look at. Um, I've got NASA stuff. Like I've got a piece of the beta cloth, which is like what the spacesuits and stuff are made out of. I've got a piece that's actually from Apollo 11. It wasn't actually on the suits that went out. It's a piece of like the reject cloth, like where they cut and make the suit and they take the rest of it and move it over the scraps.
Yes,
I've got a piece of that.
Now, sci-fi stuff and science stuff and space stuff, you have a fair collection of that as well. I seen when you were testing the camera, you had a pen that just popped on for a wee minute as well. Or
Oh yeah, I collect fountain pens. I like to take the old vintage fountain pens from like the 30s, 40s and stuff, and rebuild them. Put new ink sacs in them and ink them up and actually use them.
but science and space and stuff like that, as everybody knows that watches here, is one of my favorite things. The meteorites. Can you bust out your meteorites there?
As you know, I showed them off to you a moment before we started. So let's see if I can get down and close.
Now, what's cool about these, from my opinion, is the fact that these are literally the oldest thing in the galaxy.
Yeah, these are 4.5 billion year old chunks of the Campo de Cielo meteorite that hit the Earth about 4,700, 4,200 years ago. And they're iron rich, they're magnetic.
There was a thing I seen the other day, and there's a meteorite that's floating about up there that is exceptionally high iron. And usually what you find is when it's the iron meteorites are cores of planets. You know, you get your rocky ones and stuff like that, but these are protoplanets, ones that have nearly got to the point, you know, nearly big enough. See, that's fucking, you know, it's just a rock to some people, but that, I just think it's cool.
Yeah. If you look kind of close to, you can see a little bit of the red. That's like the actual iron rusting just a little bit, so you can tell it's, you know, it is a iron rich meteorite.
Do you go out would you go out and collect these yourselves? Have you got anything in your collection that you've went out specifically, right, I'm taking a weekend away and I'm going here and this is a known area for fossils and I'm going fossil hunting? Or do you buy most of your stuff?
A lot of the stuff I have currently is bought, but I do have plans. I do most definitely have vacation plans to go after all the pandemic stuff goes away. To go fossil hunting or to go, you know, there's, you know, just stuff like that. Now that I know what's going on or how to do it, what to look for, I think it would be an amazing vacation.
I've recently seen, I haven't researched in it because it was only the other day or so I heard of it, but they've found the first dinosaur fossil in Ireland. They generally don't find them here, like, but they have found one quite recently. I don't know what it is or whatever, I just heard it in a wee news snippet, but it just goes to show that they're everywhere.
Yeah, they really are.
You know,
and the thing is too is meteorites and stuff are everywhere too. Most people don't even realize it, but like there's little dust particles of meteorites on your roof right now. If you collect enough of your rainwater and filter it out with a magnet, chances are you'll get microscopic pieces of meteorite
just floating in the atmosphere.
Just like, because most meteorites are small and they come in, they burn up in the atmosphere and they break up into tiny chunks.
Yes.
Most of them don't burn up completely. They end up being little like dust particles that end up, after they burn up, they just kind of fall onto the earth. So you'll find them in the water, you'll find them on your roof or places that collect dust
Mm-hmm.
from the atmosphere.
Was it
Um,
2013 or was it 2003 that meteorite exploded in Russia? It came down and it
I
just
know
exploded.
I can picture the video.
Yeah,
And
yeah, you see the video and it coming in and it's sort of exploding. And they also have one, I think it's in Siberia as well, from 1800 and something. There's pictures of all the trees flattened, but there's no actual meteorite. They've exploded completely. 100% vaporization, as you say, up into the atmosphere.
So like the one I have, you can still find pieces of it all over the place. Campo de Cielo was a massive meteorite. Well, I guess it was a meteorite now. And you can find chunks like that, but you can also find pieces that are like, a good inch or two, the 20-30 centimeter chunk of or a slice of that meteor that people can, that's actually something I want to get to, because different parts of the meteor, especially that one, have different compositions. So you'll see like there's a metal rich part, and there's like little like amber or yellowish crystals that form inside of it. And some of the slices have that, to where you can take it and hold it up to light, and you can kind of see the light scattering through it. It's really beautiful chunks of, chunks of space, if you will.
It literally is chunks of space. As you say, as we were discussing now, the meteorites, they're all different chunks, so they're coming from something that hasn't formed. The iron cores are protoplanets. And for the people who don't know, do you want to tell the difference between a meteor, a meteorite, and a comet?
Ooh, okay. So a meteor is still
testing you now.
A meteor is still up in the in space.
Yeah.
Meteorite is what happen after it. Once it goes through the atmosphere and hits, that's a meteorite. And comet,
ice, isn't it? Comets
mainly
ice.
Yeah, it's mostly ice and ice crystals and stuff like that, which is why the comet's tail is chunks or the water vapor and everything that are coming off from the heat when it gets close to the sun. That tail, actually, the further out you go, the less that tail exists. And whenever it gets close, that's whenever you see it.
Is there anywhere in particular, as you were talking about vacations and your planning and stuff, is there one that you would like to share with us? Is there one that you're hoping to go for, or a particular meteorite or a particular meteorite that you would like a chunk of? I'm going to go here and I'm going to find myself a piece of X meteorite because this is cool.
That is something I still need to look up. There's a lot of fossil beds and stuff like that are around in the South, like Alabama and Mississippi. I think I have a few of them. There's a bunch in Texas that are places where you can go and pay so much and go and look for fossils, and you get to keep everything that you find. And that's one of my vacation spots. That's my nerd vacation.
No, nerd vacations are cool. If I was going anywhere, is it Machu Picchu up the fucking Chile mountains where the aliens used to land? I'd love to go there. I think it would be class.
Yeah, places like that, historical places. My vacations involve things like museums and different things along that. If I go to a beach, I wouldn't know what to do. Just lie there I would get so bored with it.
See, I like when it comes, like, you've got the same sort of idea or the same sort of like as myself, but sort of based in a different direction. Like, I like old civilizations. I like history. I like the idea of where we came about. And don't get me wrong. If someone give me a tooth or something that's 4.5 million years old, I'm not going to complain. But it's a slightly different look at history. You would be more in hands, more having it physically in your hand. Tactile sensation, so to speak. Like.
Yeah, I used to love, before I got the collection, I used to love researching this stuff, looking at pictures online or reading about it. And only recently did I realize that some of that stuff you can own, you can, put your hands on it. And so that's essentially what motivated me to build the collection is, just having this stuff on hand.
Now, we've mentioned, I think it was Brian earlier, the mosasaur tooth, and we've talked about the T-Rex tooth. There was one that you showed me just before we come on. Was it a swordfish?
Oh yeah. Let me switch cameras so I don't glitch out.
See, teeth are very, very cool.
Where is? Here we go.
You can tell an awful lot about an animal from its tooth. You see young Earth creationists and people, oh, all you found was this or all you found was that. But from these things, you can then extrapolate.
Yep. See, this is a sawtooth rostral. So if you know what a sawtooth looks like for the people, for the people watching, they have that long saw-like appendage on their nose or on their front, and it's filled with these spikes. This is one of them. It's called a rostral tooth, and it's like a fish hook, essentially.
It looks like a fish hook.
Yeah, it acts, from what I gather, it acts the same way. They stab, catch, and then eat. And it's got the tooth part that fits into the skull. Still intact on this one.
Yeah. See, tooth are very, very cool because you can see there's a difference in the core. There's a lot of information that can be got from teeth. Especially if you find teeth that aren't fossilized. Obviously, you're not going to find teeth that aren't fossilized from dinosaurs and things like that. But going back into maybe Neanderthals and things like that, we brush our teeth every day to get rid of the enamel. It generally builds up a layer and traps things that we eat. So, you can learn an awful lot from the tooth of a creature, about the creature. What's that one?
This one is a crow shark from, let's see, I have it written down. 70 to 100 million year old fossilized crow shark tooth.
70 to 100 million.
And this one, if I'm not mistaken, this was also found in Morocco. A lot of the fossilized shark teeth you find are from, like the ones you can purchase, really, are from Morocco, because there's a huge bed of them, and people you walk around and they can pick up a fossilized shark tooth.
Yeah, well, there's a place you can go to. Pick a load of them up, and then whenever you come home, you can sell them and cover the cost of your holiday. What is that?
This, since it was right next to the stuff, this is shark vertebrae, fossilized shark vertebrae.
See, that's, you would never think to go out and buy that. That looks like some sort of a ring or a cog or something like that there.
Yeah, but it's two little chunks of, shark vertebrae. That particular one, let's see. I try to write down how old everything is. That is 25 million years old. So that's really not as old. I just said 25 million years is not that old, but
yeah, no, in the grand scheme of things, though. In the grand scheme of things. I'm just trying to find a freaking command. The bot doesn't seem to be doing what it's told. Yeah. What made you buy that? You just buy that because it was cheap and then you find out about it and...
Well, some of the odd things, like the rostral tooth and the shark vertebrae, those are part of the subscription box that I've got. It's, no sponsor links or anything like that, but it's called a Matter Box, and it's just basically like science delivered to your door, and it's all kinds of random things, from fossils and mineral samples to just science tools and just things that you wouldn't think to buy.
Yeah.
But when you're like, this is so fucking cool.
Yeah, I was thinking of getting something like that for the child for Christmas. It sends them out once a month, and depending on their age group as they get older, it goes from building maybe a kite to building a robot and things like that. They're like wee science, hands-on sort of activity things. And it's good to have somebody else pick it for you. As we discussed earlier before we went on stream, we all have our own genre of music. We all like certain music. And if you go to the internet, you go to YouTube and you want to listen to some music, you generally find yourself typing the same things in. You're relying on the algorithm to feed you stuff that you don't know. It's very hard to find something you don't know if you don't know about it.
Mm-hmm.
So having that random box sent to your door, you know, it's like, hey, there you go. Everybody gets the same, but some people know about it, some people don't.
Yeah, definitely. And if if you want to get it for like your little girl, they do have stuff like weather balloons and different activities. Some of them have activities you can do. Like I got a piece of blueprint paper, and it says exactly how to make a blueprint, and it gives you the piece of paper to use and how to chemically form it and all kinds of stuff like that.
Oh, and step-by-step instructions and things like that are, you know, not only for kids, but for adults. You know, I personally love to tinker. I love to fuck about with stuff. You know, and we lose that ever so slightly whenever we move from being kids into adults. You know, we're too busy paying bills. We're too busy doing this. And, you know, tinkering and getting an interest in something and things like that. It, personally, for myself, I like to learn, and it really gets me going.
Yeah. See, that's kind of why I have so many damn hobbies. You know, the building fountain pens and stuff like that. I've got a hobby room on the other side of the house that has leatherworking tools. I've got my 3D printer in there.
Damn, I'm not jealous of that at all.
It's my second 3D printer.
Oh yeah, no, yeah, just rub it in. Go on, rub it in some more.
But like, I'm into shortwave radio, finding vintage shortwave radios and all kinds of different things like that, and just tuning into different frequencies, seeing what I can do. If it doesn't work, take it apart, fix it, put it back.
I thoroughly enjoy that. My father's big into that. I could still tell you his amateur radio code. There's two versions over here. There's the CB radios that you would get, you know, like truckers in America would use, and then there's the amateur radio, which is the licensed one. Like, and my father was friends with one of the guys in work, or one of the guys in school in the technology department, purely because of this. And then me and another friend, we convinced him to convince the school to spend $6,000 on a radio. And all our free periods and stuff, and after school, we were able to talk to people all over the world, and they would send you out a postcard. This is before the internet, you know, and you had to get 100 people from all over the world to actually send you a postcard before you could even apply to get the license, as proof that you'd talked to so many people, you know.
Yeah, ham radio is actually one of the things that I wanted to, but it never quite got there. So
it's fun. You know, language barriers obviously cause a problem, but most people in the world speak English anyway, you know, so.
It's not the universal language, but it's like the unofficial adopted trade language, essentially.
Yeah. You know, if everybody learns it as a second language on top of something else, you know, it's a very mass used second language, so it does help that we can all talk in English.
Yeah.
Out of your entire collection at all, I know we talked about a favorite fossil, but do you have a favorite thing? Is there one thing that you praise above all else? Could be cheap, could be this, could be anything, but you know, up on the shelf, this is, if the house is on fire, I can't grab my entire Curiosity collection, I'm grabbing this.
Ooh, that's a tough one. Ooh, put me on the spot.
Literally burning the house down around you.
Honestly, wow, I really don't know.
just do this into a cardboard box or something and run with an entire load of it.
Pretty much armful and run. Yeah, it probably just depends on what day you would ask me what's there. Though the T-Rex fossil or the meteorite would probably be one of the top lists. Just because of what they are.
But you could leave the meteorite there. You could go looking for it with a metal detector afterwards.
Yeah, that's true.
You know, it's not going to burn down. I doubt the house would reach, 4,500 degrees or whatever it needs to be to melt the damn thing.
Yeah, it's already been through it.
Yeah. It survived fucking coming through the earth, so I'm sure it could survive a small little tiny house fire. We'll just be like, I'll forget about the meteorites. We'll get the skulls. Grab the skulls and run.
Yeah, the skulls will probably melt.
Well, what we'll do now is we'll start asking questions from the chat. We'll give people a wee while to come in from the chat and ask questions. Cadence, do you want to let everyone know what is coming up in the next 15-20 minutes on our next stream?
The next stream, Um,
Dave's
is
very
not
excited. Dave's really excited.
if if you are vanilla, you would probably be very shocked at the next stream that we're doing.
Oh, right. Yes. Any particular reason why?
You'll find out. Tune in.
Cadence also has a collection of other stuff that would be not safe for work. Is that the fucking phrase of it, is it?
Yes.
Yes. So after this, we are going to have a delve into Cadence's slightly darker collection, which doesn't be kept in the living room. I very much doubt.
No, not often.
Dave wants to know, why do you have leather working tools?
To work leather.
I think Dave's trying to ask, what are you making?
I've made a few things that will be on the next, things along the topic of not safe for work, yes. But I've also made things like knife sheaths and like keychains and little things here and there. So.
Have you made a knife?
No. Blacksmithing is one of the things I have yet to touch. I've watched plenty of YouTube videos.
Yeah.
But no, I haven't experienced it yet.
Definitely something that I would be interested in myself as well. Because the way it goes is everybody always says that you're remembered for 3 generations. You know, your kids remember you, you're remembered as a grandparent, and if you're lucky, you get a great grandkids, you know. But a knife or making a sword or something like that, you know, similar with the whole idea of what your entire collection is about. You know, you've got something that transcends the lifetime of a person. Something that lasts longer, you know, than when we are around. Now, you might not remember the person who owned that meteorite before you or this, that, and the other because you don't care. But if it goes down through your family, you know, making a sword or making a knife or something like that and giving it to my daughter, and my daughter then giving it and this, that, and the other and passing it down. And it'll probably end up in 5 or 6 generations in an attic. But it's still there, and it's still somebody that will talk about. Somebody will be like, who made this? And such ancestor made this. You know, it gives you something, you know, to pass along.
And the funny thing is, you know, me and my love of science, I know how to forge. I know how to take, say, a piece of metal and grind it down and temper it, and how, you know, heat treating it and tempering it realigns the atomic structure of the metal and stuff like that. I know how to carve stuff out of wood. I know how to make stuff out of leather. So technically, I can make a knife.
Yes.
All the way down to the handle and the sheath. I just haven't.
Now, as we mentioned earlier, Cadence, we'll do a full circle. We stole you from GE's and found you over there and brought you over there. How did you find GE? Was it...
Well, GE is like my spirit animal. Not gonna lie. I started finding channels like, say, GM Skeptic, genetically modified skeptic, and people like Professor Stick? Yeah.
Yes.
Channels like that, and GE did a collaboration.
Mm-hmm.
And whenever I saw GE, I was like, okay, this dude speaks to me. The way he talks, his attitude about it, I'm like, this dude's my spirit animal. Well, I started watching more of his videos, and then next thing I know, you know, Skeptic Mafia, and I've been that for like a year and a half, something like that.
And you know, from GE, then you've went out into the community. And I know we've only recently found you. Have you been stretching out? Have you other channels that you like, or other communities? Or it is a wider hole that we have. Yeah, a wider whole community that we have. That's next stream.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, you know, yeah, Mama Atheist, and then you and BrainBug, Dave, Critical Cripple. Those are channels I wouldn't have found if I hadn't have found Mama Atheist off of Godless Engineer.
Yeah.
It's a whole network of people who like odd things.
No, we're all fucked up. Yeah, that's one thing about the community. I don't think there's a normal person here.
No.
You know, normal.
the atheist community, the science community, you know, anthropologists, geologists, entomologists, etymologists, people who like literature, the words, stuff like that. Just the different non-mainstream stuff. We all get together, and you know, we all got to lift each other up. So
Johan has asked, did dinosaurs taste like chicken?
actually, do chickens taste like dinosaur?
Well, chickens are dinosaurs.
Exactly.
So did dinosaurs taste like the chickens of today?
I don't know, but I'd love to find out.
Would be cool. Time travel would be cool. If you could time travel anywhere, where would you go? What time period would you go back? Do you have a fossil that you would like to possibly go back and see the animal that made it, apart from a T-Rex?
I'd actually like to go back to before like the Great Dying, and see all the fish and sea creatures and stuff like that. All the stuff that didn't preserve.
Mm-hmm.
Because we all know the fossil record is only like what, something like 15% of all known species that actually existed, or is some astronomically low number of the record of what survives. So, knowing everything that we know now, what are we missing? And I'd love to go back and see that.
That's a good answer. I like that. I do. I like that. Right. Well, what we will do is it is streamed, or it is scheduled for maybe 15 minutes or so, but whatever. Pee break, go get your drinks, go get all the rest of it, and go get your whips and all the rest of it. And we will see you back here in about 10-15 minutes, and I'm sure that the next stream will be a little bit more heart racing, a little bit more if you're vanilla, not worth coming back. But Dave, if you can put the link to the part 2 in the chat, please. And if I can shout out to my Patreons, I usually always forget. Shout out to the Patreons and everyone who supported. Thanks for everybody who's came and watched. Very much enjoyed this. I'd love to call around to your house someday and have a poke around Cadence. There's a lot more stuff. We could spend an entire day doing it. Her links are in the description. Fine, go there, subscribe. She's at 76. So if we could get her to 100 tonight, that would be great. There's at least 20 people here, so that's 96. And some of you have socks. We can get her to 100. And check in Cadence for each individual thing. We'll be spending an episode on it. We'll find out more information, and you can focus in, ask questions. And definitely, I'm very much looking forward to Cadence growing as a channel as a whole. So Cadence, as always, thank you very much for coming in and joining the community. Thank you for coming here tonight. And we will see you on the next one. And on that, we will oink and we will out. Oh, would you look at that?